All right, USC fans, this one's for us. I mean, anybody's welcome to watch, obviously, but this one is about USC and the players that I think that they are or should be targeting in the transfer portal. I have a long list, a very long list. I won't name every player that I have here on the list, but I will go through some because I have a feeling they're going to start naming some commitments for USC very, very soon. All right. Now, at the very top of that list, if you watch this channel at all this season, you already know I've wanted Sarah Williams since the beginning of the season. I was already looking at the fact that we were going to lose Kiki and Rhea and Clarice. I saw Sarah Williams playing for Wisconsin. First game of the season, I said, I want that. We lost our defensive anchor in Rhea. We lost our primary post option as far as scoring goes in Kiki. Sarah fills both of those needs. So Sarah Williams is at the top of the list for me. Bria Cunningham coming on back to California. Well, I'm not in California, but coming on back to California, I would love to see that happen. A lot of people left Arizona. She averaged 11 points, 7 boards, 56% from the field, over a steal per game, almost 2 blocks per game. Definitely want to see her right there next to Sarah in that starting lineup, potentially in that starting lineup. We lost our best three-point shooter in Avery Howell. I have a long list of snipers. If you guys watched the sniper video, salute to you. If you haven't, it's still there. Transfer Portal Snipers Edition. You can pluck any names off of that list, and I think they would apply. Gianna Neepkins, she's right there at the top of the list. Tiana Todd, she's a player that I believe is considering USC, so she would also be very high on that list for me personally. And like I said, you can check out that video. There's a lot. There's a lot of really good shooters, but we need some. With JuJu being out for most of the season, at least most of the season. I don't know if she's coming back next year or not, or she's going to wait until the year after that. But knowing that she's out for at least most of the season, you're going to need some primary scoring in the backcourt. Now, I do believe that Kennedy Smith will score about 15 per game last season. We start to see some inklings of that in the tournament. Kind of fell off towards the last game, but I believe she'll be able to score consistently around 14 to 15, maybe even 16 points per game next season. I think Jazzy Davidson is as good as advertised. Now, when I watched him play for FIBA, Sarah Strong came off the bench. Kennedy Smith came off the bench. They were the first two off the bench, very impactful, but Jazzy Davidson was in the starting lineup. So the coaches saw something. I'm not saying that means that she's better than them, obviously. We've seen situations like that before, but in my opinion, she's at least on their level. When you're looking at players like Sarah Strong, Joyce Edwards, and Kennedy Smith, the impact that they were able to make immediately on their teams, well, Sarah was on a different level. She was freshman of the year for, and rightfully so, for very good reason. But I believe that players like that, like Jelani Cambridge, Toby Fournier, instant impact on their teams. Jazzy is no different. Trust me on that one. Jazzy's no different. She's a third ranked player in the class for a reason, and she's gonna live up to that. Now, I would love to have a player like Jaylen Brown from Arizona State come join. She's really savvy, handling the ball as a primary pick and roll player. I think she would be great. That would be a home run hit just to stack the deck a little bit as far as 6'1" wings, especially if we don't get JuJu back next season. But I don't think she's considering USC right now. I know Michigan State, West Virginia, Baylor, those are three visits that she has planned for now at least. So I don't know how realistic it is to get Jaylen Brown. I would love to see that happen, but probably won't. And it's not really a big need, like I said, with Kennedy and Jazzy being able to handle that role. They need a starting point guard. Can Pitbull develop into that? I believe so. It's very possible. Alina Arnasalo, she was one of the best floor generals in the country, in my opinion. Dawn gave her props. I showed that in the previous video not too long ago. I think that she was really good before Kiki Rice came back from injury. Toni Morgan from Georgia Tech, she's a really good player. She was over 13 points per game, 4.5 boards, 5.5 assists. Neither one of them shoot really well though from the 3-point line. They're both like in the mid 20s, and that can really mess up the floor spacing if nobody really respects your perimeter shooting as a point guard. So that can kind of mess up the flow for everybody else, for Sarah, for Bria, and people will kind of pack the lane a little bit. So I like them as primary point guards who know how to get the ball to the right people at the right times in the right spots. I trust them as that. But the shooting leaves a little bit to be desired. I do think now no, don't sleep on the players that we already have also, like Brooklyn, Ryan. I think they'll take a step up, but I'm just talking about transfer portal targets right now. They need a third big. They need a third big. I named two in Sarah and Bria, but obviously we lost three. right? So Laura Ziegler, I'll take her off this list. Laura Ziegler, not only did she average 17 and 10 last season, but she also averaged 4 assists per game. So having somebody like that can also step out to the 3-point line so you get some spacing, a good playmaker, that takes a lot of load off of the primary point guard. Jazzy, she can move the ball around a little bit. Kennedy, she can move the ball around a little bit. You give Laura some playmaking responsibilities, and yeah, I think we'll have a beautiful offense where it's just not one primary point guard pounding the ball trying to rack up all the assists. I don't think they necessarily need that. You need more of a egalitarian type of offense right there, and that would be beautiful. So Laura Ziegler from St. John's, I would love to see her join USC. Yeah, I don't want to name 25 names here, even though I have a list of about 50, but I think all of those players would be really good fits. Nia Robertson from SMU, another really good guard. She's more of a scoring guard than a playmaking guard, but another really good guard. Not really efficient though. You know, I hear Samaya Smith from LSU is considering USC. She would be another good addition, even though I think Vivian Awuchukwu and, players like Laura Williams can probably fill that role that she does, but I still wouldn't mind seeing her sign up. Rashea Kyle from Florida, she's a player I like a lot. She entered the transfer portal with the do not contact tag, so I don't know who she's considering, but if it's USC, that would be great news. But yeah, I'll stop there. Let me know in the comments who you guys think they should sign up, who they should target at least. Try to go for. I don't know if they will, but at least make the attempt. And then hopefully we'll start to hear some news soon. By the time you guys hear this video, it'll be the morning. So yeah, hopefully we'll start to hear some news very soon.